All right. We're back. Talk to us, Randall. What's good?
What's good? What's good? FB, YouTube, wherever you watching, listen to this. Welcome back, Forte Experience. Or my bad, I'm mixing up Forte Podcast, but don't forget the word Forte Experience because that's the
Yep.
networking and party event that
Yep.
y'all need to show up for. Because our special guest today, you're gonna want to meet him in person. I thought I was a true representation of somebody who works a 9 to 5 regular job and then comes home, does the 5 to 9 to be able to outwork the 9 to 5 someday. But this brother here is absolutely doing it on a whole nother level. So I'm gonna let him be able to sing his accolades and his praises, and just step out the way, and so y'all can hear what he has to say. So Raul Rodriguez, come off the mic.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good evening, right? My name's Raul Rodriguez. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. Joined the military when I was 17 years old, right out of high school. Been in the Navy 21 years.
Mm.
Throughout my 21-year experience, the military has given me the opportunity to learn, a strong work ethic, learn how to grind, learn how to lead, right? Lead people, lead sailors, and it ultimately gave me the opportunity to meet some great people along the way, and then get involved in a little bit of real estate. So that's what my forte is here, both military and real estate at the same time.
That's dope,
Nice,
bro.
nice, nice.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's
That's
what's up.
dope.
So to the audience, yo, how I know Raul is we were on the G Dub, another friend of mine who's doing big things, man. And George Washington made a lot of people, a lot of good people out here who doing great things.
We'll
So
start
I met
calling this the G
George
Dub
Washington.
podcast. Start calling it the G Dub
I
podcast.
know, for real.
Yeah.
That's where everybody's coming from. That's where everybody's coming from. But met Raul on there. We've kept in contact over the years. We served that on another ship, the USS Mitchell. Then from there, or nah, I'm mixing up. That's my last ship, USS Barry. We served on
Barry.
for about a year or so before he departed. Yeah. So again, we've been each other's lives for like over like 12, 13 years now, and I've been able to see him like be a hands-on type of worker, somebody who's in the trenches doing work. I remember one time, I hope Raul don't feel too embarrassed. Like I think he was on a ship in Bahrain and he was doing some plumbing fixing, and he was like, and he's big on social media about like just promoting what he's doing, what he has going on. And I remember one instance of where he took a picture or a video. No, it was a picture, and he was like fixing some of the pipes inside the ship. And it's called
Ah.
CHT, so that's basically your poop pipes. So pipes that you like you used to go to the bathroom. He was fixing those pipes, and some of it got on him, and he was like, "I'm just gonna just go in, just no PPE or nothing. I'm just gonna go ahead and fix these pipes." But that's the true type of character, the true type of character that Raul has is that no matter what, he's going to get the job done, right? And that has transferred over to the real estate thing, to be able to create mass wealth, to be able to be what 10 doors now, Raul? We got 10 doors.
10 doors, 10 doors. Yep, 10 doors, absolutely.
That's dope, bro. That's 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 that's
Shit.
that. Yeah, that's dope,
Yep.
man. Yep.
Yeah. Do you think the military anyway has shaped your drive and in some type of structure when it comes to real estate?
Absolutely, right? So when I joined the military at 17 years old, at 17 years old, you don't really have that much guidance. You don't know where your life's gonna take you. And when I joined, I knew a few things, right? I knew that I wanted to travel the world. I knew that I wanted to be successful, and I knew that I wanted the tools, right? Learn the tools to be successful. Didn't know where that was going to take me, but I felt like joining the military was going to develop those tools that I needed, right? That work ethic and the tools as a leader to be successful. And definitely the tools that I learned in the military afforded me the opportunity to be able to be successful both in my regular life and learning real estate, and doing going through my path with real estate. Like Randall said, I do a lot of my renovations myself, hands on. I'm very handy, so I do save a lot of money with renovations and deep diving and doing things on my own. So absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. So kind of walk me through what is your like being that you so hands on, right? Like what is your day like from time you wake up to the time you lay your head on your pillow? Like what's your day like?
Absolutely. So my day is, I wake up at roughly 5:45, 6 in the morning, getting ready. I'm going to my Navy job. There, I'm a firefighting inspector, so I lead sailors that inspect ships moving forward in their phases for damage control. So I lead roughly about 23, 24 sailors on a daily basis. Once I'm done with that, I get home roughly around 1700 from my non-military folks. That's 5 o'clock, right? And sometimes I come home, change, and go straight to the rental properties. Or sometimes I leave work and I got to change of clothes in the back of my car, and I'm going straight to these rental properties, and I'm either painting, I'm working on plumbing, light fixtures, doing demo work, whatever I need to do. And I'm there sometimes, 10, 11 o'clock at night before I'm coming home and laying my head down for the next day. So that's a typical day of what it is to in both military and what it takes to be successful in this the real estate game.
So I got a question for you,
Man,
Raul. Let me bring them back for a little bit, bro, before we before
yep.
we dig into this real estate, right? Raul, talk to us a little bit about your upbringing. Tell us a little about your family, as far as where you from, how many
Yeah.
siblings. Like, let's talk about that, and then we'll get to the real estate.
Absolutely right. So as I said, I grew up Miami, Florida. Um, it was just me and my mom's, single mom. Witnessed a lot of evictions, car repossession, bouncing home to home to home, and just a very unstable as I grew up. And definitely, I saw those things. I monitored those things, and as I saw my mom go through a lot of things in her life, definitely in the back of my mind, I say, you know what? I just don't want to live, that lifestyle as I continue to grow and get older, right? And we lived in several duplexes, fourplexes, Section 8 housing, and it has kind of afforded me now the opportunity that I went from living in those Section 8 houses, living in those duplexes, those fourplexes, to now owning them myself, right, and providing housing for people that need housing as well. So being able to contribute to my community and provide housing is a big thing for me as well.
Man, let's get some fire for that. Let's get some fire for that. He said went from living in those type of homes to now owning those type of homes and being able to afford other people the opportunity to have somewhere safe to stay. Man, yo, that's dope. That's dope. That's definitely being able
Yeah.
to tap into your skill, your forte, and then be able to give back to the community. That's dope. Do you think that upbringing was like the bedrock or the cornerstone for why you are or who you are today? Like, do you feel like it kind of creates? I know for me, like I wasn't like in the deep down in the ghettos or nothing like that. I kind of lived an all right life, but I wonder if that kind of drives you. It gives the fire in your belly to be able to say, "Hey, never. I'm not nor any of my legacy is going to have to experience what I experienced growing up." Is that kind of something that helps drive that for you when you were staying up until
Yeah.
11 o'clock at night? Because you passed 5 to 9, bro. Like you way past 5 to 9.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes growing up without it, right, and then now we're working towards, these goals and achieving these goals, uh, create something inside of me that helps me appreciate it more as I do receive it and do achieve these goals. And I think it's very important to set goals for yourself, whether it's 3 6 months, 9 months, 3 years, setting these short-term and long-term goals for yourself. And as you achieve them and you go through the ups and downs of achieving them, help you appreciate it more when you do achieve these goals. So yeah, definitely growing up like that and in that environment definitely helps me appreciate more of it now. Absolutely.
Got you, got you. Have you experienced anything lately, or as you navigate this real estate entrepreneurial space, where you look to try to be in uncomfortable situations, be in situations that will require you to have to feel the pain to then be able to see what it looks like to come out of it. Have you experienced anything like that as an adult, right? And then be able to then appreciate the grind and journey that you went through?
And that's a great question. You know, being an entrepreneur and learning what it takes to be an entrepreneur, um, sometimes it's very glorified, right, on social media. But the reality of it, there absolutely will be early mornings, late nights, and there'll be times when you broke, you know, to try to achieve these goals. And it happened to me a couple times already, where several years ago. I was trying to get more doors, right, and to get more real estate. And I had an opportunity. I had a time when opportunity. I was buying a fourplex and buying my house within 90 days. So I bought two properties within 90 days. And for those who know, whenever you're buying an investment property, you have to put typically 25% down, right? So when I bought this fourplex in Puerto Rico, I had to put about $56,000 down to include closing costs, right? Closed on that deal, and then about 2.5 months later, I bought my house and had to come with about $12,000 to closing. And honestly, I was not expecting that, but it had to be done. And I remember going to the bank to get that check for my closing costs on my house, and I had about $10 left in my account. And to a lot of people, that's very scary. It was a very
Mhm.
scary feeling to go there and only have $10 left to my name, to where if I went to pump gas with my debit card, it was going to decline, right? But I had faith. I had faith in both my drive, my initiative, my programs that I have in place, and I knew that I would bounce back from that, right? And immediately after
Yep.
I closed on my second deal, within 2 weeks, my fourplex, I got four rent checks, I got four deposits, right? And then I started getting the paycheck from the military. So I definitely, within 2 weeks, I bounced back and I was back into the grind. But feeling what it was like to only have $10 left to your name, right? It was a little bit scary, but at the same time, I was happy inside because I knew my dollars were out there working for me, right? So I think about my dollars as a bunch of little workers out there that's working for me,
Yeah.
and they were out there doing their due diligence, which is making me more cash flow on the back end. So absolutely, that's one of my times where I was nervous, but I had programs in place to where I was absolutely positive that my drive and my knowledge would bounce back from that.
I love that. I love that. You mentioned something actually that brings to mind. It was an Instagram story from a gentleman named Myron Golden that I listened to about a couple weeks ago, I believe. And in there, he said that there's nothing special about people who are rich or millionaires, right? They may have more resources and access, but for the most part, the difference between somebody who's rich, who's middle class, who's poor, is how they look at money and how they utilize money. And what the rich people
Yes.
do is they try to figure out how to multiply their money, how to take that $1, or in your case, they fold. Right. So I think that's something to take away for our audience members as they listen to this conversation or any conversation on the Forte podcast, that just be mindful that the journey is going to be scary. But if you go with your due diligence and you go with your faith, your drive, and just think about on the back end what you will gain from the inconvenience that you're feeling right now, is going to be
Mhm.
worth this. It's worth it. So I definitely loving the fact that how you drop that. Put Have my dollars or soldiers out there making money for me. So that's dope. That's dope. Don, you
So
got anything? You got
yeah, yeah,
anything? I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
trying to.
Here's my question for you, Raul.
Mhm.
We're big on coaching and mentorship, right? And so I don't want to assume that you just woke up one day and decided to invest in real estate, right?
Mhm.
So who was it that inspired you, and who mentored you to get you to the place where you are now in regards to investing in real estate?
Yeah, great question. So my first introduction into real estate was when I was 20 years old. Um, I bought a property in Portsmouth, Virginia. and it was a new construction home. I applied for the loan, and I bought the house, and it turned out to be a house hack. So for those who don't know what a house hack is basically you buy a property, and I rented out. It was a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath home. I bought the property. My mortgage on there was roughly about $1,400 a month, and I rented out. You know, at 20 years old, single, no kids. I rented out the other bedrooms for $500 and $550 a month. So essentially, my two roommates were paying my mortgage to where I only had to pay about $300 a month in mortgage. And I did that for about 4 years, right, at the age of 20, which afforded me the opportunity to just beef up my savings because I really wasn't paying that much for a mortgage. Um, After that, I took a tour to Iraq. I spent a year in Iraq, came back. I had some savings set up. And like any young 21, 22-year old, I wanted to buy a brand new car. I was like, you know what? I want to buy me a Benz. I want to buy, get an S550. And I met a gentleman by the name of Resty, older gentleman, right? And he asked me, he was like, hey, you just got back from Iraq. What do you plan on doing with this money? And I said, hey, I want to buy a brand new Mercedes Benz. And he's like, man, that's a lot of money. And I was like, yeah, but I want it. And he said, you know what if I show you how to take that same money that you're about to spend on this Mercedes Benz, and I show you how to multiply it so that it works for you, and it's making money for you, right? So he had my attention. Um, he had my attention, and I said, well, talk to me about it. So he said, hey, I'm going to show you how to buy a rental property. And at that time, I took his advice, and I bought my first rental property. It was a property in Virginia Beach, townhouse, 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. I own it still today. And at that time, I paid $83,000 for this rental property. My mortgage was about $530 a month.
Wow.
I rented it for $900, and so I had positive cash flow immediately, right?
Hold on. Pause
And
for a minute. Pause for a minute. Pause for a
yeah,
minute. What year was this, bro? What year was this?
this was about 2000. I would say 2007,
So
roughly 2000, 2007, 2000, maybe 2008.
gotcha. All right. So 2007, 2008. I just want people to understand that Virginia Beach townhome, 83,000. It ain't happening right now, right? So
No,
I
not
can
at
only
all.
imagine, without you even giving us numbers, I can only imagine what that property is worth right now, right? And
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons. The reason why I pause you for a minute is because I shared that with individuals when it comes to real estate, right? The value of real estate, it goes up.
Hmm.
And so that, I had this conversation with someone, and they was talking about interest rates, and they was saying, the rates are high, right? And this is how I put it. I say, you know what? I agree the rates are high, right? But also the rental rates are high too, right? But
Yes.
also while you're waiting for the rates to fall, the values are continuing to increase, right? So this property that you're saying in 2024, the rates are high, right? In 2024 to 2025, the rates may drop, but now that property is selling for more, right? So
Yes.
at the end of the day, you're really not saving because now because you waited a year or 2 years or 3 years just to get a lower rate. Now you're gonna pay more money for that property because you're waiting to get a lower rate, but now you're paying more for it. So to know what you did, hey, kudos to him, man, for giving you that advice and for you to listen. Because
Yeah.
Yes.
most of us, like, when I was in, hey, I went and got a car, and the car was I brought a lemon, right?
Hmm.
So for you to be able to listen to what he was saying and then to heed to his advice, man, good stuff, man. Kudos to you, brother. Kudos.
Thanks,
But go
brother.
ahead.
I appreciate
But
it.
continue on. Go ahead. This is getting good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the property, right, mortgage 530. I was renting it for $900. Immediately I saw that cash flow and the light bulb went off, right? And I said, man, if this one property can give me $300 in cash flow a month, what if I had 10 of them,
Mm,
right? And that's where it started. The light bulb went off, and I started to do more research, right? Fast forward now, I still have that property. The mortgage is right now about maybe 560, and I rent it for 1450 a month. Right. So now the cash
Man.
flow on that property is is amazing, right? And now
Pause,
that
son. Hold
property,
on,
So,
man.
yeah,
Hold
I was
on.
hey,
about
Hold
to
on.
say,
Hold
I was
on,
about to say
Raul.
that.
Hold
Like,
on, brother.
yeah,
Hey,
like
go ahead. Go ahead. Go
let
ahead, man.
people,
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So help people understand, how did you go from, so you bought this back in 2007, 2008, $900 the rent, right? So
mhm,
your mortgage stayed the same, right?
Mm,
But you was
right,
able to increase the rent. So
yes,
this is another thing for people, because I want to slow it down, because it might have went over some people's head, right? So not only did you buy, like, way back 10, what's that? I don't want to do math on air, but let's say that's 14 years ago, right? 14 years
yes,
ago. So now, not only do you have increased equity in a home, because the market has increased. So
mm,
I want people to understand that, right?
yep.
The value of the home has increased because the market has increased over the years. That's inflation, right? You have forced
yes.
equity also because somebody else has been paying your mortgage, right? So
Principal
that's
pay
been
down. Yep.
decreasing the
Yep.
principal pay down, right? And then on top of that, you have the cash flow from the rent that you're able to increase incrementally every year. So over the course of 10 years, you've been able to increase your rent over $500. Come on
Yep.
now.
And
Come
I
on
just said
now.
that. I just said that while people are waiting for rates to fall, rental rates are rising, right?
Man.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you keep waiting on a 4% or 3% interest rate, right? Now I'm not saying, hey, go out here and just go get this crazy, rate. But for me, I look at interest rates differently. First of all, I know I'm right. That's money I'm writing off, right? So I'm
Yeah.
writing it off, but for me, the main thing is the asset. Acquire the asset, right?
Absolutely.
Acquire the asset, and then just know that that asset can take good care of you over time, right?
Mhm.
And now that you're approaching year 15, the majority of your payment is now being applied to principal, right? So
Yes.
Yep.
prior to
Yep.
that, it was heavy on the interest and very small on the principal. Now it's flipping, and I know they blowing your phone up about refinancing. I know it because they want to start the clock over. So I know you're
Yep.
Absolutely.
getting phone call after phone call, mail correspondence in regards to refinancing because they want to start the clock over. But for those of you that are watching, Raul has two fortes. So let's talk about the Navy because you're still active in the Navy, but you're
Mhm.
also an active real estate investor, right? So
Yes.
how are you managing both of those? Because you're not just like just in the Navy to say you in the Navy, like you're active, right? So how do
Right. Right.
you manage both of them?
That's a great question, right? So I a lot of my tenants, I don't have a lot of tenants coming in and out, right? I do a great job of rehabbing my properties to where I get great tenants, and I'm very picky in particular with my tenants. When I get my tenants, I want them to stay long term, right? And that's putting things inside the property, granite countertops. I remodel these homes as if I were to live in them myself. Now I'm not overspending on the rehabs, right? Because it's you also don't want to do that, right? But I rehab them so that when I get good tenants, they want to stay with me. Whenever there's a problem, I'm trying to fix it within 24 to 48 hours, right? So where they stay long term. Majority of that tenant that's been living at that townhouse, he's been in there over 10 years, and he's not going anywhere, right? And I raise his rent every year, but I have programs in place to where I try to keep these tenants long term. So I have very few that leave, and I'm not really getting the new ones that often, unless I'm buying a new property and I'm trying to get a new tenant.
So there's something key to tell you. You're creating loyalty with your tenants. That's what you're doing.
Yes, yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. So
And
for
and and,
those out
and
there, go ahead.
you said something that see, I'm listening, brother. I'm listening. You said every year you raising the rents, right?
Every year.
And don't feel bad about it.
Don't feel You cannot feel bad about it, right? It's a business at the end of the day. And if you want to continue to grow your business, right, in the bank's eyes, that business needs to be profitable. right? For you to continue to get more loans from the bank, your business needs to be profitable. So you got to take the personal stuff out of the equation. One of the things that I utilize to increase rents, a tactic that I use is I go on it's rentometer.com, right? I go on rentometer.com and I print out, I look up my property and what the average rent is going for in that neighborhood. And I print it out and I give it to my tenant. Hey, this is what the average rent is in this neighborhood. And this is where I'm raising you to. So I always keep them underneath the average so that they feel like they're getting a deal, right? And most of them just sign the lease, a year or 2 year lease, and they stay with me. I give them opportunities to sign a 2 year lease. That way the rents don't increase the following year. So that's another tactic that I use for them to be okay with the rental increase.
Got it, got it. And that's also ensuring that you get that continued cash flow for 2 years instead of having to worry about that annual turnover. Got you,
Yeah,
got you.
absolutely.
Something else I want to point out is that I think a lot of times we as or some people, should I say, I'm just going to call out slumlords. Slumlords, they think, all right, once they acquire the property, put a tenant in there, it's I don't got to worry about it. Something could be leaking, something can be broken. They don't pay attention to property. So for those who are stepping in real estate, think about how you would take care of your home. Of course, taking into consideration your budget, but think about how you take care of your home. If you have something broken in your home and you would try to fix it in 24, 40 hours like Raul's doing, then extend that same type of expectation for yourself as a landlord to your tenants as well. And then long term, it'll pay off. You'll have that loyalty like Raul has built with his tenants. Yeah, that's dope, man. That's
That's
dope.
good, man. That's good, man. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a quick break. We're gonna go back to give you an opportunity to get your tickets right now for the Forte experience. So make sure y'all go to www.theforteexperience.com and we'll be right back.
Early bird tickets. Early bird tickets. Get them while they last.
May 4th, 2014. Road to Capital presents the Forte Experience, Washington, D.C. Be sure to visit www.theforteexperience.com so that you can go get your early bird tickets right now. All right, we are back and we have the honor of, man, he's doing some big things, man, big things. And you know, the thing I love about the guests that we've had on these episodes recently is that we are having guests that are 9 to 5 employees and 5 to 9 entrepreneurs, right? And that's the time frames we use to say that, hey, they have a job or career, but they also have a business. And we want you all to understand that you can do both, right? You can do both. Ro, let's talk about systems. What
Mhm.
systems do you have in place? So, because you have multiple properties, right?
Mhm.
And so it requires to have great systems because let's say you out to sea, you going on deployment, you have all of
Right.
these tenants. What systems do you have in place to be able to manage this?
Man, that's a good question. So, specifically, my property, I have a 4 unit in Puerto Rico. And the key to me managing this four unit is my property manager. I have a great property manager that she takes care of literally everything while I'm here and while I'm gone. And I've created a great relationship with her over the years and a trust relationship. Just to kind of give you, excuse me, just kind of give you a background. I was in off the coast of Bahrain on a ship. We didn't have any, and I let her know ahead of time. Hey, she knows I'm active duty. Hey, I'm off the coast of Bahrain. I'm not gonna have a lot of internet. I'm not gonna have a way to call you. If there's anything that needs to be done, right? I ahead of time I did a power of attorney for her to where she could withdraw from my bank account, but only a max of $2,500, right? So if she ever needed the money while I was on deployment or out to sea, she can go withdraw a max of $2,500 from my account with that power of attorney. Well, while I was gone, there was a big roof leak. And with Section 8 tenants and Puerto Rico, uh, things like that need to be taken care immediately, right? So the roof was filtrating through light fixtures on the ceiling, and it was a big hazard. And to be able to fix that, I had to redo the whole roof. It was a whole lot of work that had to get done. But long story short, it cost almost $11,000 to fix that roof and that leak, right? And in Puerto Rico, the roofs are not like in the United States; they're cement.
Mm.
So a lot of work had to go into that. Uh, Her loyalty, she paid for it out of her pocket. She took care of it on her own. And when she took pictures, videos, everything of the process, sent it to me with an invoice. And when I got back, I just paid her back.
Wow.
So trust me,
Wow.
a lot of property managers
Yeah.
are not going to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Especially use their own funds. But we've created such an amazing relationship over the last, 7, 8 years that she trusted me and knew that I was good for my word when I got back and I'd pay her back. So
That's good,
she's
man.
saved me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's dope.
So
Dope.
no. What about homeowners insurance claim? You didn't file an insurance claim on that?
Nah, I didn't find it was post Hurricane Maria.
Gotcha.
And
Okay. Okay.
and
Yep.
the roof was already cracking. It needed to be done anyway. So
Right.
I never did
Right.
a claim. I just went ahead and paid for it.
Right. Yeah. Kudos to her, man, for doing that because you're not going to get many property managers that's going to. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that speaks to who you are as a leader, right? And for you trusting her to say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you this, and it's called a limited power of attorney. For those of you watching, I don't want you to think you can just go give somebody power of attorney. It's
Mhm.
limited and it's specified, right? And so
Yes.
he made sure that the terms were outlined in regards to what she could do, right? But that's just good that she was able to go take care of that, but go over and beyond what you had the bar that you have set for, right? And she didn't say,
Right.
well, hey, I don't maxed out 2,500, so now you're gone. And the house is just getting worse because she's saying, well, I'm not going to fix it until he give me the rest of the money. So it speaks to who you are as a person, your character, and the fact that she was willing to go ahead and do that. Kudos, man. That's
Yeah.
that's 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 good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
that's dope.
Yeah, man.
You might
So
want to give.
what's next? What's next for you? Like, 5 years from now, what is Raul doing, man? Talk to us about that.
Man, so some of my goals right now, I'm currently at 10 doors, 21 years in the Navy. I hope to retire at least by within the next 3 to 4 years. That'll put me at, about 24, 25 years is when I plan to retire. And my goal from now till I retire within the next 3 or 4 years, I want to try to accumulate 10 to 15 more doors. So my goal, my long-term goal is 20 to 25 doors by the time I retire. So that's my goal right there. Um, I will achieve it, and I'm manifesting it right every day. So
Yeah. Yeah, you
you
can do
gotta you
50.
gotta
You can
manifest
do
these
50
goals.
doors. You can do 50 doors.
Yeah,
You can do 50 doors. Now,
absolutely. You gotta think that way.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm saying because you said doors, right? You didn't say units. You said doors. And me and Randall can give you a 10-minute training offline how you can take them 10 units you have and turn them into 50 doors.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, 50 doors. And so that's very achievable, like in the next week or so. Randall, what you got, man, before we close it up?
Nah, man. Like this is a lot of information. I hope that those listening they are inspired, especially for those who are trying to balance, like we talked about, the 9 to 5 and 5 to 9, or in Raul's case, the 5 to 11,
Mm,
right? But
yep.
yeah, it's doable. It's doable. Just know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You're gonna struggle to begin with, but it's not gonna be forever.
Mhm.
If you get past the storm, then you'll be able to have the sunny beaches and the blue waters, right? So just keep pushing through and replay this back. And if you didn't catch everything Raul said, just to get it to sink in, and as well, Raul's going to be at the Forte Experience. So if
Let's
you want to be able
go.
to see
Let's
him in
go.
person,
Come
Absolutely. Let's
on.
get it, baby.
Let's go. He's
May
gonna
Let's
be
get
in
4th,
it.
the building. He's gonna be in
May
the
4th, 2024. Go to
yeah.
the forteexperience.com, get your tickets while they're at the early bird ticket price because
That's
they
right.
will be going up.
That's right.
So
Right.
so let's go. See you
Yeah.
there. See you
Let's
there.
let's let's get it, man. Raul, we thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
How can people get in contact with you, or if like how can they reach you? How can they follow you? Let me say it that way, because we in the social
Absolutely.
media
So
age, right? Yeah,
my Instagram social media is El Jefe underscore 0901. That's ELJEFE underscore 0901. Or you can reach me on Facebook at Raul Rodriguez on Facebook as well.
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. But
And
listen,
at the Forte, you can see me at the Forte.
that's right. That's
Let's
right.
go.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
Let's
Let's
go.
get it.
Hey, listen, y'all. We thank y'all so much for joining us today. Next week, Tuesday, same time, same place. This is Dominic Epps. I'm your co-host of Forte Podcast. Talk to us,
What's
Randy.
your forte? What's your forte?
What's your forte, man? Let's
Yeah.
go, bro. Let's go. Get them tickets right now. Get them tickets.